a moment of silence for our teachers, staff, trustees, faculty and staff that have passed on. Some of you know all of these. May we have a moment of silence? Dr. Alfred G. Waters, Miss Ellen Johns, Mrs. Mamie Jeter, Mr. Aubrey Jeter, Mr. Ellis Moody, Mrs. Vivian Boney, Mrs. Portia Loper, Mrs. Charlotte Taylor, Mrs. Henry Mae Spearman, Mrs. Isabel Wilson, Mrs. Ruth Anderson, Mr. Louis Gosling, Mrs. Sadie Spaulding, Mr. Leonard Burton, Mr. Clinton Grant, Mrs. Dolores Hanks. Students: Eugene Kilson, Geraldine Greenwich, Mary Ross Putlock, Herman Summers, Roma Don, Evelyn Mosley. Custodial staff: Mr. James Butler, Mrs. Lolita Waters. Trustees: Mr. Edward Fields, Mr. Walter Ryder, Mr. Howard Congo, Mr. Wallace Sudler, Mr. Oscar Todd, Mr. William Davis, and Mr. Clarence Marble. All right, now, there may be some I missed, but these from my recollection. If any I missed, and particularly students.
You missed Mr. George Pierce.
In the new building, 52. In the new building. 62. Janice Johnson.
Class of 62.
Class of 62. Okay. I'll get that down. Anyway, we may have this. While we remember.
How about Wendell Lively?
Wendell Lively, yes. Sorry. I can't remember. We were trying to get folks to remember some of the students.
Bruce Stevenson.
Bruce Stevens. Ruth Stevens. Stevenson.
Art Brown.
Oh, okay.
Louis Powell.
Oh, wow, yes.
Art Brown.
He was right here earlier. He didn't tell me. He could have told me. I didn't know them all right. Okay. As we remember the deceased, remember that the days that they lived with us were some days to remember also. Many of them were teachers that many of you relied on, and so did we. And certainly Mr. Jim Butler, everybody sort of relied on him. But anyway, may we remember these persons as we pass along. Now, Ms. Alma Henry, the class of 54, our first graduating class, will introduce the class of 1954.
All right, y'all. Behave yourself, though.
Don't I look good?
Yeah.
We were the pioneers in the New Reading School. The year before that, you're talking about busing. We were a bust. I'm talking about being bust. Right straight past Middletown High School, any other white school that was in the city, straight by till we got to William Henry High School in Dover. And we were up early in the morning. And we stayed day to day. And then, May of that year, they said, guess what? The Reading School is going to be open in September. I said, thank the Lord. And then they sent us back to Middletown. And they sent us with all of these green new teachers. I need a second mic to refute that. And we came back. Oh, a whole lot of us. 6. And I just took everything I could get because I was the only girl. And I used it to, everything I could. And those guys respected me. They looked up to me, and I did their lessons. But we did have a ball. Now, when I got up here tonight, my friends said, what are you going to say? I said, I ain't never been scared to talk in front of people. Never. But I thought I might, cry a bit and let you think that I was sentimental, but I'm really not. Well, anyway, Lois, don't you go back to where I'm and tell these people how I act. I'm so happy to see the other pioneers in the class of 1954, and they look as good as I do. All right. Charles William Smoot, Billy.
And everything she said was the truth.
William Harvey Ford.
All right.
Oh, Bill still makes it. All right. All right. This was my next door neighbor for as long as I could remember. James Allen Cooper. Now, is Warner Henry here?
Motorcycle accident in Texas.
And we had another member of the class, William Donald Henry, who was in Texas. Now, we called Warner Pete, and we called Warner Pete, and we called William Goat. And I can say what you call me. And of course, Alma Louise Henry.
better known as Puggy.
Now, we couldn't leave here without saying how grateful we were to Miss Handy.
Oh,
Right.
yeah. You brought yourself up.
Miss Handy came here, and she was as green as those napkins on the table. And me, woo.
Oh, she wants me to answer that. I survived. Somehow. They were a good training ground, let me tell you.
So we want to thank you for these few moments that the pioneers in the new North Star Ready building class of 1954. Thank you. Before we introduce the class of 1956, and I'll say a little bit more about them, I'm going to ask those who were in the class of 1955. This was the year of the first yearbook. One of the yearbooks is here. I'm going to call the list. There were 15 in the class of 1955. I think great that 4 of the 6 1954 present. Charles Myers, Bertha Gordon, I saw Bertha. Mary Davis, Judith Greenwich, Ruth Henry, Elsie Jamison, Melvin Jamison, Ernest Lewis, John Lewis, I don't know what I'm doing this. Donna Louis, Blanche Ponzo, Thomas Saunders, he's back there, I think, Jeanette Watson, and Martin Hayes. This was the class of 1955. Where's Elsie Garrison's in here? So you can hurry up and get a scan. Yeah, thank you. Give him a hand, please. And now the class of 1956. 30 years since graduating from Middletown, Reading High School. They're the ones who wanted to have this reunion, the first people who wanted to start this. And so we are recognizing them too. Mr. Leon Saunders, class of 56. And this was my first class. Leon Saunders, if he wasn't the devil.
Thank you very much. You know, when we, Reading High School, the comprehensive school, was started from the 1st to the 12th grade. So consequently, when you went away to college, as many of us did in the class of 56, we came back and some of the same students were still there. You went in the 8th grade, you came back there in the 12th grade. Well, some of us are still in 12th grade when we came back. I had one student when I was doing my practice teaching, he was a year older than I was. When you came back, you know, you realize idealistic, you think that you're a teacher, you're firm, you know. And I had one student, he came up running up, teacher, teacher. I said, hold it, slow down. I said, before you say anything, count from 1 to 10 and do it in a very, very slow conversation. So he counted to 1, 2, 3. Then when he finally got to 10, then he said, "The bathroom is on fire." We had a lot of fun, and we had 13 brothers and sisters in the family. I think 5 was older than me. So all the rest of them was under me in the same school that I was teaching in. They came up to me and said, "James Clarence, Hard Rock. Can I go to the bathroom?" I said, "What's my name?" That was Bill. I think he stayed all day. He said, "I'm not going to call you mister." We picked the class of 56 not on any accomplishments that any of us done. We hope that most of us have been solid citizens in the community. Some are teachers, some try to be preachers, I guess. I tried my hand at it once. But only because that we were lucky to fall in this year, 1986. 30 years from 1956.
How old are you?
Well, you can count back, that's what I was going to say. I saw Mrs. Powell often. I see her walking along the road doing her daily workout, jogging. And I often told her that, I said, "You look like you're going to the Fountain of Youth. I'm getting older and you're getting younger." And Mr. Nazi was assistant pastor in the church. For a while I thought he was getting younger, but he aged overnight. We're having fun, and we are going to introduce some of these people that was in the class of 56. Our talented speaker that you heard giving the greeting, Charlie Mason, was the valedictorian at that time. Charlie, I didn't call you up here. I just was talking about you there. Sit there until I give you the call. Our salutatorian was Jefferson Heyman, and he was also the vice president of the class in 1956. Our secretary, and I think they had 2 officers at that time, Janice Cooper Lindsay was the secretary of that class, and our advisor was Mrs. Helen Powell. So we're going to call him up, and he called, my name's on here first, I'm going to leave it to last. Some of us won't be here, and there might be obvious reasons for this, but we're going to call, and we want you to come forward. And I'm going to give your name and also your married name at the same time. We had one incident. We looked up in the yearbook, and they were telling everything about what we were doing. Well, they said that John Greenwich and I were going to be professional baseball players. I missed the mark. I don't know about him. Henrietta, we said that she was going to have 5 children. Hit it right on the nose. And your name is first. Henrietta Young Wilson. Please go forward. One minute. Janice Marie Cooper Lindsay. They were the only 2 in the class that married each other. Edmund and Janice Lindsay, they married. And Edmund, you can come forward too. I saw your youngest brother, you got more hair than he got. some of these people may not be here. John Edward Conway. Now, John's a sergeant in the reserve, and he's out of town at this moment. Wish he could be here. And also Winfield Ralph Frisbee, and we were good friends and relatives. And he's in Las Vegas or California, which one is it? Or New Mexico. Travels all over. And the next one, boy, I've been waiting for this a long time. When I saw John's name, I had a W in it. I said, wonder what that W for. John Wadsworth Greenwich Jr. Boy, I tell you, they give me great pleasure to do this one. And incidentally, while he's coming up, John scored the first touchdown in Middletown High School history. 88 yards on a run against our city. That was the first time not only that we scored a touchdown, we hadn't even scored before that.
Very good, brother.
Jefferson Henry Heyman. Jeff, I haven't seen him. Is Jeff in the house? Well, he only lives a mile from here. Tempe Jane Heyman, and our married name is, what's your married name? Harden, yeah, right. And you know, during that time, I knew almost everybody's birthday. Tempe was the only one younger than me. That's why in 30 years, I'm the youngest one still, except Tempe. Helen Lavinia Lewis Walker. Ellen, I think you beat Henrietta. I think you had 6, didn't you? 7. And this is Edmund Lindsay who passed it to it. You know, Charlie and I started in the first grade together. He came from Townsend. I don't know how he got to Middletown that early. Because all the other ones didn't come till they was in 7th grade. But his grandfather drove the bus, so I guess he brought it. Charles Edward Mason, our valedictorian. Charlie, I don't have nothing to say about you. You was always my friend. I just want to keep your glare on my eye. That's all. Mary Kathleen Henry Brady. And I don't know whether Kathleen's in here or not. Kathleen Henry? Well, we will hold this for her. And last but not least, I'm going to award mine. One for me, if I can find it. Yes, I can. And this is, and I don't know who wrote this up, but when I wrote my name on that yearbook, I had C. Leon Saunders Jr. Now, see what happened, that my father changed his name, so he changed mine. So I thought I was Leon all these years, and I was Charles. But he had so many that he thought named 2 of them the same name. Say John, Joe, James, come here, boy, come on. We are going to, at this moment, in the class of 57, we unfortunately, untimely had a deceased. Mary Elizabeth Ross Portlock was with us, and I think Mrs. Todd will concur to that. She started in